Hi VC, back again with my second Gimme 10 from 1989. Just been having a chat with Vinyl Professor James um, about my approach to these Gimme 10. And probably came to the conclusion that a lot of it's quantity over quality, but well, I don't know. But maybe, oh, who cares? I love all of these records, otherwise I wouldn't have them in my collection. Even though I think I've only ever got rid of one album that I absolutely hated at the time, and I've regretted it ever since. That was Life of Brian by Flowered Up, by the way. Right, here we go. Let's get on with this. Right, first up this time, the Adult Net, the Honey Tangle. I love this record. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's Brix Smith, Marquis's other half, and her own band. It is just real jangly guitar pop, absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Things like Spin This Web. What else? Take Me, Waking Up in the Sun, Tiffany Tuesday, and she just looks absolutely fantastic on this album, which helps. I was just looking at the musicians that are on here, and it's quite a lineup. You got Brix, obviously, vocals and guitar. Craig Gannon, who was in the Smiths for a short time around the Queen is Dead era, as a second guitarist. And then you've got Clem Burke from Blondie, playing drums. Don't recognise a bass player, but anyway. Lovely record. This could have been in my top 10. I love this record of pieces. This is Jacques by Mark Almond. This was a labour of love for him. He recorded, they're all Jacques Brel songs, and he's recorded them. I think they were new translations of each song. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. The writing on the sleeve's too small for me to read at the moment. But it's got Devil, Okay, or Le Diable is great. If You Go Away, The Town Fell Asleep, My Death, which was obviously recorded by Bowie on the Ziggy Stardust motion picture soundtrack, Alone. It is just a gorgeous record, absolutely gorgeous, and I love the cover, kind of aping that Blue Period Picasso. It just fits totally, and it's when Mark Almond was at his peak. Yes, also were brilliant, but I just think he was at an artistic peak during the late 80s. Had to include this next one. You know what this is. Had to include it. Just brilliant. Although I do prefer the Soundgarden album to this one, but when you've got songs as good as like Floyd the Barber, About a Girl, School, Negative Creep, Scoff, this is just a brilliant record. I mean, obviously they hit well, I wouldn't say it was an artistic peak with Nevermind. It's a brilliant record, but it's not their best, and this isn't their best either, but it's a brilliant record anyway. Nirvana, Bleach. Right, I can't remember whether this was their full debut album, but this is A Shaman, and this is In Gorbachev We Trust. This is such a brilliant record. Kind of fusing, they were starting to get more dancey. I think they've been they had been more of a psychedelic type band before this, but then I think they sort of did the same thing that Pop Will Eat Itself did, and they started listening to dance music in 89 or 88, 89, and they started incorporating that into their music. I mean, later on they obviously went more pop dance, pop trance, I don't know what you want to call it. I love that as well, but this is right on the cusp between their psychedelic era and their more dancey stuff. And it is fantastic. Sweet Young Thing, Raspberry Infundibulum, Jesus Loves America, that's absolutely mind-blowing. In Gorbachev We Trust, the track, Adam Strange, this is great psychedelic dance rock. And this is, forget about Soup Dragons and all that indie dance rubbish, but well, it's not rubbish, I quite like it, but this is the real thing. This is brilliant. Next up, we've got a band who were kind of lumped in, I think, at the time into sort of the tail end of hair metal, and they certainly look a bit like it on the back cover. This is Enough's Enough debut album, self-titled. This is actually a power pop record, and it's a damn good power pop record. Single was New Thing, Fly High Michelle, Kiss the Clown. I'd actually put this as a almost a heavier sort of Red Cross type thing. I just think this is completely underrated, and just love it. I think this is a great record, and I think it really does stand the test of time today. So there we go. Enough's Enough. Or is it enough? As I think I mentioned before, I was dead into the garage punk scene. Well, garage punk records from in the late 80s. So I had a lot of Nuggets compilations and Pebbles and Rubble, and loved, and the live band I loved at the time were this lot, Buzztones, and they came out with this, which had them signed to Situation 2 in the UK. Produced by Shel Talmy, who was a legendary producer in the 60s. Pretty sure he produced didn't he produce the Kinks? And he also produced the first Who album, I think that's right. This is just great. It's glorious garage punk. You've got things like 9 Months Later, Hurt on Hold, Black Box, and there you go, there's the back of them, there's the fine lads. Just love this. Lead singer Rudy Action Protrudy, just brilliant, absolutely loved it. Charlotte Remains, just great. Next up, Mudhoney's first full length. This rocks, totally rocks. This Gift, flat out fucked. I mean, that just sums up the whole album. It is flat out fucked. And to be honest, it's probably the most. This probably should stand as the most grunge album ever, because it really is that perfect amalgamation of the MC5 and Sabbath and probably Black Flag and just fantastic. Here Comes Sickness, Dead Love, Come to Mind, Magnolia, Caboose, Baby Shit. You got it. Keep it out of my face. Probably pop record of the year next. I love this record. I think it's brilliant. Nena Cherry, her solo debut, Raw Like Sushi. Nearly forgot what the title was. This had massive mega hits on it. The two big hits are Buffalo Stance and Man Child, and they're both brilliant. Inner City Mama, Kisses in the Wind. All the main singles are on the side one, and then you got Next Generation, Love, Ghetto, Heart, Phony Ladies. just brilliant sort of hip hop inflected pop. And I absolutely loved this, and I thought she was absolutely brilliant. I mean, look at that. She just looks like she means a business, doesn't she? Absolutely fantastic. Gorgeous album of the year was this one, Judy Cruz, Floating into the Night. Written by Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch. Heavily featured in, well, some of the tracks are heavily featured in Twin Peaks. Obviously Falling, which was my song of the year that year. Rocking Back Inside My Heart, Mysteries of Love, Into the Night, I Float Alone, The Nightingale, The Swan. Lots of the tracks were used in Twin Peaks, and it is just an absolutely beautiful album. Absolutely fantastic album. Judy Cruz. And then just to round off, this was in, I haven't watched many of the other Gimme 10's 89 yet, so I don't know what's been included in other people's, but I know this was in Fred's Gimme 10, and it is a terrific record. It's just I never got into it as much as some of their other records, like The Top and the other one that came after that with, anyway. But this is a great record. They've got some really good songs on this. Pictures of You, Love Song, Lullabies on it, Fascination Street, Disintegration of the Track, Same Deep Water as You. It's a great album. I mean, it's Robert Smith. I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong on, but well, he didn't put a foot wrong, to be honest. Apart from releasing too many live albums, I think. Seems to be one out every 5 minutes. But there you go. Disintegration. So there we go. That's my second choice of 10 for 1989, and there was definitely be some albums that probably could have made the main 10, but well, there we go. So hope you like that one, and I'll see you soon. See you later, VC. Bye.